Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. If you're looking for jewelry that makes an impact on your self-care routine and your style, Empowerography would love to offer you a discount code to one of our exclusive partners, Quartz & Canary Jewelry and Wellness Company. Please use code EMPOWER15 to receive 15% off upon checkout at www.quartzandcanary.com. Quartz & Canary is truly the place where spirituality meets style. Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest is Emily Lauren. She is an author based in Burlington, Ontario. How you doing this morning, Emily?
Great. And how about you?
I'm doing wonderful. It's a beautiful day outside. It's not too, it could be warmer, but
we'll take it.
It's still nice out. Yeah. And how is your morning going so far?
Good.
Excellent.
Good so far. Got the kids off to school and
there you
now
go.
I get to talk to you.
Thank you so much for agreeing to be here and be part of the podcast and share your story with us today. I appreciate that.
My pleasure.
So, Emily, you're a body image expert who is 100% committed to making girls and women feel comfortable in their own skin. You have a degree in women's studies and sociology. You're a marketing manager for your family business as well as a part-time photographer. That's a lot of hats you're wearing. Where do you find all the time for this?
Oh, I don't know. I think I use my time wisely. First of all, childcare helps. Otherwise, I'd be working every single night. Yeah. But working for the family business, I have their trust to get my work done. So that gives me a little bit of flexibility. So I'm pretty lucky that way.
Yeah. So body image expert. How does one become a body image expert?
Well, I think, while I was getting my degree, a lot of my focus and research was on body image issues.
Okay.
When I graduated, I worked for a counseling company, and I've also led an eating disorder support group. So, sort of all this experience compiled into one, and then doing all the research for the book, I think I'm kind of an expert at this point.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Can you tell us a bit about why this mission is so personally important to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that I'm just really tired of girls hating themselves and feeling alone in their feelings. The fact that there are, rich, powerful women who are still affected by these unattainable standards, still shows me that there's something drastic that needs to change in our society.
Yeah.
Eating disorders have the highest mortality rate of any mental illness. And we need to do something about that now before it keeps getting worse.
Absolutely. But how do we, what are the steps? Where do we start with this? It's such a massive problem. Where do you begin?
Yeah, it's overwhelming. And I think the first step is educating and knowledge, because I really believe that knowledge is powerful. And I think if we can first recognize sort of that there's a problem, it's so, diet culture and these beauty standards are so inherent in, our lives that we don't even really see them there.
Yeah.
And I think the first step is really addressing them, challenging them, and, hopefully starting to change, social expectations and these ideals.
Yeah. Now, you're the founding editor of Happy Daughter, a body positive online community for women. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah. So after I wrote my book, I really wanted to continue the conversation because the book's really just a starting point. Because these standards are so embedded in mainstream media, I wanted to create a platform where we were free from it, and a place we could openly talk about things without sort of that sneaky diet culture coming in there.
Okay. Now, how did you come up with the name for the community, and what's the mission?
Yeah. I think that every woman is a daughter first, and regardless of anything else, I feel like our human purpose should be to be happy and to make other people happy. So as cheesy as it sounds, I just wanted to create a world full of happy daughters.
No, that's great. I think that's great. It's not cheesy at all.
Yeah.
What inspired you to create the community?
There's so many negative and damaging headlines, like the clickbait type articles that are only reinforcing these, ideals and the pressure placed on women to be perfect.
Yeah.
It's done in a variety of different ways, whether it's, look, she lost all the baby weight, or, she's got her, rolls hanging out. Like, can you believe it? So even on, platforms that are featuring empowering content and articles, it's so subconscious that even if it's not purposely in there, it's hidden in a lot of
it's still there. It's still
articles,
exists.
Right? Yeah. It's so embedded in who we are. So I wanted a place where I could consciously edit every article to ensure that these negative messages aren't a part of the content.
Now, again, how do we change that? Because the media is a monster. So, I mean, how do we get into changing the mindset of these people that are writing these articles and these companies that have a hand in all of this shit? Because it is incredibly damaging.
Exactly. I mean, I think we need to be aware of it so that we can begin to challenge it. And the more we challenge it, the more we stop supporting brands that, don't give a good message in their promoting of their products, and start to support more companies that do. When we take away our money, we take away power,
their power,
from these companies, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, like some companies have done a really good job, like, Aerie features,
yes.
Women of different body types, different skin colors, all that. And wouldn't you rather support them than a company like Victoria's Secret, who, they royally failed when they tried to jump on the body positive trend.
Right.
And they only featured very thin models, with large breasts. And I think if we start being aware of these things and supporting companies that are trying to make a change and listening to people, then we have a shot at making this world a little bit better. But it's going to take baby steps, and it's going to take time, and making this part of the mainstream conversation will change things.
Yeah, it's a huge mountain to climb for sure. And it does have to start somewhere. It has to start with a step forward. It's just, it seems like such an overwhelming task because the mountain just seems so bloody big.
Oh yeah.
And there's so much stacked against sorting out this problem and changing the mindset.
It's easy to get overwhelmed by it, but there's power in numbers, and the more people that do things like what you're doing and what I'm doing, the better off. I feel like if we can affect one person at a time, then we're making progress. That's
right. Yeah, we're doing our own individual little parts. It is small in the grand scheme of things, but if we all do our small part, that's where we start to get traction and the difference starts to be seen and happen, right?
Exactly.
Just have to keep doing what we're doing and putting the positivity out there.
Exactly.
It's funny because I never think about what I'm doing as this grand, big thing. I really don't. I just think I'm a guy that has a podcast and wants to help empower women. But now, I mean, really just thinking about it right now in this moment about our conversation and thinking about the huge mountain and what you had just said about all of us doing our own little parts, that really struck me. It's like, yeah, I guess I am really making my own difference in my own little world, but that is one piece or one cog in the wheel that is spinning to make that difference.
Exactly. And the more little cogs we have going, the better chances we have of winning.
That's pretty awesome when you think about it, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Because if we all just did nothing would change, right?
That's right. How long has the community been in existence? When did you create this?
Yeah, not too long ago, actually. I guess a couple months ago. I'm still building it right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, time's limited, so it's still sort of a side passion project. But I'd like to really, make it bigger. And, I'm starting to get different writers, produce content for me and yeah.
How has it been received so far from your experience?
So far, so good. A lot of people end up on the website because, my social media accounts link to it. And the feedback I've received is really positive, and I'm glad for that.
Great. So you had mentioned you wrote a book called Body Positive, A Guide to Loving Your Body. Can you tell us a bit about the book and what the inspiration was behind writing that book?
Yeah, absolutely. So I like to think of it as really an intro book to body image. It's firstly a self-help guide for navigating areas of life that involve body image issues. It has guided questions to help improve your body image and tips for challenging certain standards. But my favorite part is that I interviewed over 150 women. So I included a lot of their responses at the end of each chapter, because I didn't want it to just reflect, my perspective and my experience dealing with body image issues. So it was here's the facts. And this is what people think. Some of the thoughts were truthfully negative and some were positive, because I really wanted to get a broad variety of
But you also want that brutal honesty too.
Yeah, exactly. Because, it's not pretty.
The truth can be very ugly.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing that I did for the book was I photographed 75 women.
Awesome.
And the images are all unretouched.
Beautiful.
And I hope I did a pretty good job of providing a representation of several different bodies. And, the point of that was just to make women feel better about themselves when they look at these images and feel sort of some representation and feel like someone, reminds them of themselves.
Yeah. Now, when is the book supposed to be released?
January 5th, 2021. So about two months to go or so.
Wow, must be incredibly exciting.
I am.
Now, are you self-publishing? How is that all working?
No. So I have a book deal with a great publishing company called Familius.
Okay.
They're all about making families happy, which was tied into the message for the book. And they were a great fit for me.
Awesome. And how long did it take you to write the book and put it all together?
So the actual book didn't take too long to write. Maybe a year or two I worked on it. But the process of finding the women willing to be interviewed and photographed in their underwear took a bit of time because I didn't want just, stereotypical bodies. We got a lot of, thin white blonde women who were willing to pose, but it was harder to find people that represented a vast group of women. So that process took about 6 years.
Wow.
But I did take breaks in between, having children and whatnot to get where we are today. So and then about a year ago I got the publishing deal. So it's a bit of a process in getting all that ready to go and whatnot. So
that's great.
Here we are. Yeah.
It's an amazing cause and it's needed. So good for you.
Yeah.
Now, seemingly in the media, self-love, women's empowerment, body positivity, all of that great stuff are buzzwords. Do you think that the media has had a hand in creating this narrative? It's cool to use these terms, or it's the in thing? What are your thoughts on the whole movement and how social media portrays it?
Yeah, I definitely think the media didn't create it. I think that they're definitely benefiting from it.
Right.
There's companies who are interested in using these words. It means the ones that are using these words means that they're listening to a lot about what women want, which is to be free of certain standards. But then there's companies who are doing it wrong and are sort of co-opting its meaning and are failing sort of at providing that actual empowerment and body positivity. There's quite a debate right now, in this self-love community online, because a lot of people think it has been co-opted by just thin white women, which in some ways, I'm sure it really has. If you look up the the hashtags and stuff. So it's really important, that we reclaim it and use it in the way that it
should be used, or
it should be used, and originally the movement stemmed off of the fact that marginalized bodies needed representation. They needed to have a voice. And, we need to continue to make sure that all bodies are being amplified, and it's not just the privileged ones, because there are obviously different issues, even though we all can agree that all women face body image issues and are faced with the pressure of diet culture and whatnot, right?
Well, I mean, social media plays a huge part in that, because it's creating these false narratives and these false ideas or looks that people that women in particular should have.
Exactly.
And the unfortunate part is that starts with the kids at a young age, because they see all of this shit that is absolutely fake, airbrushed half of it, and that's what they think they should be looking like, and it's horrible. So I think everything there with all of this issue, the main part has to start at home. The education has to start at home.
Yes.
Teaching our children that this is not real and this is not how you're supposed to look.
Exactly. And a lot of the feedback I'm getting on the book too, even is, while it was written more for, young women, young adult women, and teens, a lot of older women are using it as a tool to teach their children and sort of teach themselves about what's going on, and so that they can talk to their children in a way that is more body positive, and we can sort of nip this in the bud, like before it becomes full-blown issues and, before it's too late.
Yeah. I mean, well, when you have children or kids of a young age committing suicide and things like that, that's, you've got a major problem on your hands, and things need to change. The mindset needs to shift, and we need to do something about this now.
Absolutely.
Before it continues to get worse.
Yeah. And with social media, it's in a way, it's been such a good thing because it's connected so many of us, but in another way, it's really challenging to navigate through what's real and what's not. And that's why it's really important to have those conversations with our kids, even as, my kids are 3 and 5, and I'm already talking to them about stuff like this. So,
that's pretty bad when you have to do that with children at 3 and 5 years old. You wouldn't think that, back when we were growing up, that wasn't as prevalent, of course, because we didn't have the availability and the connections. And on one hand, I think, as you said, social media and cell phones are two of the greatest inventions, but on the other hand, they are the worst inventions ever because of what it can do and what it has done and what it continues to do to people.
Exactly. There's literally studies that show that kids as young as 3 have body image issues and talk about dieting. So, that's pretty scary.
That is very scary when we've got a problem like that. It's horrible that a child should just be able to be a child, be a kid, have fun, play with your friends, and that's all you have to worry about. Not how you look or how you're like, that drives me nuts. It drives me absolutely nuts.
On paper, it seems so easy. Like we could just easily, flip the switch, but it's not that simple.
No, it's an uphill battle. Like I said, it's like one of the biggest mountains to climb. It's horribly sad.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Well, like you said, we just need to keep doing our own part in battling this problem, and hopefully it has a domino effect and other people jump on board and start doing their part, and together, community thrives, right? So
yeah, exactly. And we're seeing positive changes. Look at the fact that there are companies that are making changes to their advertising, and so baby steps, but we're going to get there.
Yeah, for sure. Can you share a situation that's occurred in your life that you feel provides insight as to your character?
I can't say there's like one defining moment.
Okay.
but I'd say that like I'm a naturally very shy and introverted person, even though I hide it very well. I feel like that sort of gave me like these empathic sort of superpowers, where I can like inherently read people and understand them just by observing them. So I care a lot about making other people feel comfortable, and that makes me want to make this world a better place for everyone.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
What makes you feel inspired or like your best self?
I think I'm most inspired when someone validates, someone feels validated by something I've done. Meaning like whether it's something I've written or said, that they feel better about themselves. You know, that motivates me to do more. Like I'm on the right path, and that keeps inspiring me to, you know, to continue on. I mean, there's been moments throughout this journey, you know, I was like, is anyone going to read this? Is anyone going to care? You know, and anytime I shared it with someone or told someone about it and I got some positive feedback, like, oh, that's so needed. Or that makes me feel so much better. I never thought about it that way. You know, that really motivates me.
Yeah. Having an impact on someone's life with something that you've done or something you've created is the, I don't know about you, but for me, it's the most incredible feeling in the world to know that something I did impacted someone and maybe changed their mindset or changed their thought. And I mean, I had the same feeling before I started this podcast. I thought, who the fuck's going to want to listen to me?
Yeah.
Like, who am I? I'm just a guy that, you know, has this idea to do this, but who the hell's going to tune into this?
Exactly. And then you start hearing that you've made an impact, and it's like, it keeps you going.
Yeah, it does. It absolutely does. It keeps you motivated to keep pushing and keep creating. And it's the most incredible feeling in the world. It's the same thing with the photography. When you impact someone and someone looks at their images and says, like I've had women say to me that they cannot believe that that's them in the photos. And that is the highest compliment, I think, anyways, I could ever be paid. That's the most incredible feeling, to be able to evoke that kind of emotion in another human being.
Because you're showing them who they are in a different way, like without the critical eyes. And I think that's so amazing. Yeah,
it is. It's an incredible feeling. What would you say is one of the best pieces of advice you've ever received?
Despite what others think, do it anyways. You know, there's always going to be people that disagree with what you're doing or want to make you feel bad about what you're doing for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And you just can't listen to those voices because they don't motivate you. They don't give you confidence to keep going forward. So just do it anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot of noise to tune out, you know, and that's what I think a lot of people, entrepreneurs or whatever the case may be, authors, artists, they get hung up on that, and it prevents them from creating, because then this self-limiting beliefs creep in, and it's just, it's a vicious circle. But you have to learn, you have to be able to tune that shit out.
Yeah, it's the same thing with like not getting so over invested in like what other people are doing. And like I go down this path all the time too, right? And I have to like check myself and remember that what I'm doing is different, even though it might be the same or the same mission or whatnot. Yeah. You know, we're all unique, and we're all doing things our own way, and we can't compare ourselves to other people, because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And you know,
well, that's true. I mean, it's the same. Yeah, it's the same with anything. Like even thinking about becoming an entrepreneur or going into my business with photography, it's like, I had people say when I was telling them about it, it's like, well, there's so many photographers out there. Yes, true enough. And I fell victim to that belief, and I fell into that trap of, oh, wait a minute, what the hell am I thinking? There are so many, but it takes a while, but at least it took me a while anyways to get past that. And again, that's a self-limiting belief. But I've come to realize in the last year and a half, I guess, that no one else is me. No one else sees things the way I do. No one can provide the service or experience I do to my clients, because they're not me. So that's where the difference is believing in yourself. The difference is
you. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's hard to get there though for I mean, I myself had a hard time getting there, but I'm happy to say I finally reached the point where it's like, no one else is me. So yeah, there's honestly, I truly believe with all of my heart, there is enough business out there for everybody, no matter what you're doing. No matter what your business is, there is enough out there for everybody. It's very sad when people fall into that trap, and it's hard to get out sometimes. But
I remember someone said something about, knowing the fact that someone's doing what you want to do is not a bad thing. It's like they've paved the way for you to sort of pursue that. And you should think about it in a positive way instead of like, oh, you're going to have to go through all these uphill battles to get where you are. They've done some of that for you already.
Yes.
Like there's a formula now make it yours. Yeah,
for sure. How do you define success? What does that word mean to you, Emily?
Well, I guess like my biggest success would be, having an awesome and amazing family. We're imperfect and we love each other and there's no greater gift. But other than that, I think success is following your path and doing what you love, whether you get paid for it or not. Yeah.
What do you feel most grateful for in your life?
Other than family, I think, the opportunities I've received and, not wasting them, like the fact that I was able to go to university and learn certain things, and it kind of set me up for the path that I'm on. And I want to share that knowledge with everyone I can and not waste them.
Yeah. If you were guaranteed the correct answer to one question in life, what would you ask?
I think I'd want to know where we go when we die, because I often wonder, do we get to see our loved ones from the past, or is this like our one and only shot to like, make the best of it?
Yeah. What's the first thing you notice about a person?
Body language. I feel like I can read people's body language a mile away.
Okay. What makes you smile?
Making other people happy. I'm a people pleaser through and through. So that makes me happy.
How would you describe yourself in one word?
I would say that I'm motivated. I feel like I have a purpose, and even if it's changing or being modified, I don't ever want to stop moving forward. I feel like I'm constantly motivated to continue on.
Doesn't that feel amazing when you know what you want to do, when you've figured that out? Because you think about it, there's so many people in life who are so miserable at the jobs they go to, and they hate their jobs, and they don't know what they want to do in life or with their lives. When you're able to figure that out, it's so incredible. It's so empowering. It's so...
Absolutely. I mean, knowing that you have a purpose and knowing that it can change too, and it can take you in different directions, and like sort of giving into that is like really freeing. Like you don't have to say this, I only want to be this, or I only want to do this, but this is sort of where my interests are guiding me, and that's my purpose, right?
Yeah. What does the word empowerment mean to you?
I think empowerment to me means providing others with powerful energy and inspiration, whether it's to embrace themselves as they are, or just motivating them to do something that's meaningful to them.
Okay. If you could set up a billboard anywhere, where would you set it up, and what would it say?
I'd put it, probably on the highway or something like that, so that everyone could see it. But it would say, don't waste your time being someone else. You're allowed to grow and change, and your appearance is the least important part of who you are. Beautiful.
If you were writing your autobiography, what would the title be?
Oh, I would, that's hard because you know what? Caring and complicated, I would call it, because there's a lot going on up in this mind.
If you could sit and have a 1-hour conversation with anybody, alive or dead, who would it be and why?
Ooh, that's a tricky one. I would like to know and talk to the first person, probably a man, who decided that it would be a good idea to promote the fact that women need to buy their products because they created the problem and then offered the solution. Like who came up with that advertising scheme? I want to talk to them.
All right. That's a good one. I've never heard anyone answer with that one. That's very interesting. That's a first. What would you say is the biggest risk you've ever taken?
I think it was creating this book, Yeah. I didn't have a platform. I'm still building one now.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. But despite that, I still did it anyway, and I pushed and I made changes as I went on. And, here we are that I actually get to see my book in print by publishers. Pretty amazing. If I hadn't decided to do that, then, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah. It's got to be a pretty incredible feeling.
Mm-hmm.
If you had a theme song that played every time you walked into a room, what would that song be?
Titanium. The one sung by Sia, and I think it's by David Guetta.
Yeah.
Because I like just the whole idea that, it's all about being strong, despite what's thrown at you. Because I feel like that's who I am. I always find a way to move forward with life. So that's what I would pick.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
If you could teach the world one thing, what would it be?
That there are people who feel the exact same way that you do, and that no one should feel alone in their thoughts, because if you're thinking something, guaranteed there's someone out there who has felt the same way or thought the same thing.
Yeah. If you came with a warning label, what would your warning label say?
I like that question. It would say, may seem reserved and private, but at any moment may also reveal every personal thought about herself, like an open book.
Would you rather be able to speak any language fluently or be able to speak to animals?
I think I'd definitely like to be able to speak any language fluently, because I'd love to be able to talk to anyone and about anything. I think that would be really cool.
If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
I think the advice I would give myself is not to let other people's opinions hold me back, and that the only one that matters is my own,
Yeah. What is that saying? Other people's opinions of you are none of your business.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think like a lot of the time too, we this is like literally what body image is. It's what we think other people are thinking about us.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's not even what they're actually saying or it's what we think they're saying.
Yeah.
And usually it has nothing to do with what they're actually thinking. So I think that, the less we worry about those things, that the better off we'll be.
Well, we need to get out of our own heads and stop the negativity and,
exactly,
self-deprecating behavior.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to just do what makes us happy and make sure we're having a positive impact on
own who you are, own your shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And celebrate it. Celebrate yourself. Celebrate who you are.
Yeah. We live in a society where so many people are afraid to be themselves. And I mean, for good reason. Like, mean, you go on the internet and the trolls and the bullying and stuff.
Absolutely.
Like, it's just, it's hard to be yourself right now, but
which is horribly sad
that we do it. Yeah.
We should be able to just freely be who we are.
Yeah, exactly.
It's horrible that people feel that they can't be themselves.
I know. But I mean, there are the brave people out there that are putting themselves out there and being themselves. That's a great example for us to be able to follow, and that's inspiration.
Absolutely. Lastly, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, what would that last 30 seconds sound like? Doesn't have to be exactly 30 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I'm not timing you, Emily. It's okay.
Okay. Stopwatch is off. All right. I would say that you're allowed to change, and not to fear growth, to stop comparing yourself to others, because we're more different, but also more similar than you can think. And there is no one in this world out there quite like you.
Awesome. That's beautiful. I love it.
Thanks.
Very simple and straightforward, to the point.
Yeah.
And it carries a big message. I love it.
Thank you.
Emily, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with me today and share a bit about your journey and your story and your insights. I appreciate all that you're doing. I think it's amazing work. I think it's necessary, and this is the perfect time to be doing things like this. And I just want you to know that I appreciate you and I appreciate what you're doing. And thank you so much for being part of this community and being a guest here on the podcast and sharing today.
Thank you. And thank you for what you're doing out there too.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Once again, my name is Brad Walsh, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest has been Emily Lawrence. She is an author based in Burlington, Ontario. Thanks very much, Emily. I hope you have an amazing rest of the day.
You too. Have a good one.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at visuphoria.ca and follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.